G'day guys, welcome to another vlog. As you can see by the title, I bought a BA Falcon, which was the cheapest one I could find on Facebook Marketplace. So let's go ahead and find out why it was so cheap.
Yeah, back and I'm better than ever. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen them. All of those times getting severed. I told them all I get let up. They get not tired of me never. Give me a shot and I swear I shoot like Berettas. Yeah. They getting nervous, I seen it. What I seen, you wouldn't believe it. They say they want it, I need it. Damn.
Let's start with the exterior. As you can see, the side skirts are trashed. Interior, trashed. Look at this, just broken, ripped seats. Like, this is how the car was sold to me. Literally with all the rubbish. I haven't touched it. I've literally just drove it home and now I'm recording. I do, however, what came with the sale, things don't work as they should. Doors don't unlock. There's that many problems with this car. So you got these dark arts, I think they're called, rims. I believe they're fakes, but they came with the car. I'll probably end up selling them. Dents everywhere. This car was in an accident like 7 years ago, which is a repairable write-off, which is in Australia. We have WOVA, so you could search it up and find that it's been in a front ender here. But it's going to be a drift car. That's the purpose, and that's why I've bought an absolute shitbox, is because we'll get into the details of what it actually has that's good. So it's manual for starters. It's a 6-speed T56. The mighty Barra. And now this is why I bought it. I got it quite cheap, and from all the damages you can see why. But look at this. So forward facing plenum, I think it's 980cc injectors, all E85 compatible. Fuel pressure regulator. It's got some sort of Chinese turbo. It's got a plasma and intercooler. Look, from what they've told me, it's had the basics what you get in a Barra. I'm yet to, like I said, I only just got the car. I do have dyno sheets, it making 400 horsepower. It did have a controller on it, which had an E85 tune. I don't see that controller anywhere, so I believe it's just running on 98. The dyno sheet said it had 400 horsepower at the wheels. So we'll find out, but it definitely does not have it now, because that's what I was going to lead to, what we're going to fix. The first fix we're going to do on this, it has an exhaust leak somewhere, and I believe it's in this vicinity, but I'm yet to find out. Moving to the back, it does have a full custom exhaust. I believe it's a 3.5 inch. It has a 4-inch dump. I've got receipts for that. It sounds okay. I think it's a bit loud for my likings, but we'll give it a start. Sounds quite aggressive, but it's running a bit rough when it gets hot. I expect it's because of exhaust leak. Oh yeah, so I can feel, so it's the leaks coming from the manifold where it connects to the exhaust, that gasket. And luckily, because I was building another Barra, I've actually got a motor at home that I've reconditioned and done all the head studs and stuff, so I will be putting that in at a later date. So I do have a gasket kit, and it has that gasket, so let's fix that when I get back to my place. As you can see, it's running pretty rough, and I'm guesstimating, like I was saying, that it's probably because of that leak. But let's listen to the exhaust. I'll give it a bit of a rev. Alright, we're back at home. I'm just going to start pulling apart the turbo side, you know, get access to those gaskets and replace them, and hopefully the car's running perfectly, because I don't know if I mentioned it before, but it's hunting on the revs, and I'm assuming that's why its lack of performance and its hunting is because of the turbo, but we'll find out. Just got to fix this first, and yeah. So yeah, because I took it for a drive, the manifold is way too hot to work on, so I've just been messing around with the side skirts and stuff that are a bit loose. Yeah, I found that AU Falcon, the side rubbers are the exact same or pretty similar, and I had some spare, so I whacked them on, and have a look at this. So before it was hanging down, now it's not. Doesn't fit perfectly, but that's the old one that's all bent and whatnot, and that's just another spare I have. Yeah, it's on. Just this side skirt's broken at the front, so it doesn't really clip down here. But at the back, it's all nice and snug. I just dehectified the rear end by taking out the subs. They won't be needed for drifting. Weight reduction. It's been a few hours, just been, you know, cleaning it, so I thought I'd spare you guys the boredom. I've just pulled out the subs and have a look at the interior that I've been doing. So this is all the old sub cabling I got to take out. I'm not running the subs. I was having a bad fuel smell, so I was just like having a look, because I knew on my AU that this was leaking, but it doesn't seem like this one's leaking. Looks all dry, so I'm gonna have to investigate that further later. But yeah, it just has a strong smell of petrol, and it leaked out somewhere. So yeah, just pulling out the sub cable. They've just ran it, you know, to here. But like, check this out. Like, look at the bodgy wiring. Like, it's just been twisted around. I'd say that's for the lights and stuff inside that I'm going to take out anyway, but it's just disgusting. Like, look at this. There's just a few things I need to tidy up on this. Just a few, but we're getting there. So all this is going to be ripped out, cleaning it up a bit. It's looking a lot better. Like, I think the boot looks a lot better. Clear, obviously hasn't backed yet and stuff, but yeah, we're getting there. Unbelievable. I've been out for hours just pulling out cables. Like, look at this schmozzle. Absolute schmozzle. Just words can't even explain. Like, what is that? What is that? Just wires all over this car. It's going to take me hours to clean this car up. And the boost gauges weren't even working, or the boost gauge and the other gauges weren't working. The only one that's working is the battery one. So I've been working on the AU. It's, you know, a couple of days later. Just have a look at this. You know, I said the steering wheel was loose. Have a look at this. I have not touched it. All I've done is taken off the airbag to see why it's shaking. And I'm shocked that I was even driving this thing. Have a look at this. I'll just use my finger. Try to get the view properly. Look at that.
You got to look at it this way, okay? You just got to look at it. That's all you can do anymore.
I can turn it with my thumb. You got to be kidding me. And I drove this like 2 hours home. Got me trusty T50. Let's do this thing up. Right, so now that we've got the steering wheel all sorted, I have cleaned the car. I haven't videoed it, but I'll show you guys how the car looks once we do the turbo, and that's what we're doing next. I'm going to do the gaskets for the manifold, and that way it'll actually be making a good amount of boost. See how she drives. It does look like it has an oil leak somewhere, so I'm going to have to find that. But it's just, you know, one by one, nutting out all the problems. Let's get started. Finally, after hours of fighting this thing, I've got it off. I couldn't get to this bolt down here, so it just made the job a lot harder because I had to undo the bolts and there was like no space. But you know, we've got it off, and yeah, the turbo feels quite good. It is like just a Chinese turbo. Problem I'm finding that the flapper is like partially, it's not hard shut, so I might try to adjust it so it's hard shut, because yeah, that's a boost leak right there. Yeah, sorry about you know, the short video is a bit hard to video while got messy hands and trying to figure out what's going on with this, but I've fixed the flapper. So yeah, I took this off and tightened it up. I'm still to nip this up, but as you can see, it's nice and tight now. Before that was moving and it was loose, now there's no movement, so it shouldn't have any boost leaks now. So I'm just going to put this little clip back on, tighten that back up, put the gaskets back on and get it back in the car. Sounds easy, but it's probably going to be another couple of hours before I finish this. Alright, so just going to degrees because it's quite dirty, all the engine bay and underneath. Yeah, because it's just a bit messy, and why not while we're at it? We'll probably degrease the turbo a bit, give everything a bit of clean up. This car is absolutely filthy. I'll try to get it underneath. It's just oil everywhere. As you can see, I plugged up the turbo drain hole so it don't get any water in the oil. But yeah, it's just oil everywhere. I don't know if it had an oil leak or it has an oil leak, but it's just everywhere, like on the gearbox and stuff. So I'll give everything a degrees down, and then yeah, once we put everything back together, we'll see if there's anything actually leaking or if it was leaking. But I think there is a leak somewhere. My assumption is the rear main seal, but I'll wait and see. So it's time to put this back together and see how she runs. I'm excited for this. Finally found the gaskets, so let's go chuck it in. We're all back together now. So I've just disconnected the fuel pump relay. So I'm just gonna pump some oil through and some water through before we start the car and see how it runs. And I also haven't attached the intercooler piping. So I have to do that after, but I'm just gonna see if there's any leaks before I continue. Bit of a smoky boy right there, but I think it's just because all the cleaner, I cleaned heaps of grease out and stuff like that. Excuse the noise, there's a bit of construction in the background. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put all the intercooler piping back on and yeah, maybe take it for a drive. See how we go. So I just started it, checked it, everything's perfect apart from it smoking a little bit, but I think that's just a bit of the clean old grease that's left over. So I'm gonna go take off the jack stands, give it a drive around the blocks and see how she goes. We'll just go for a test drive. The aircon doesn't, it doesn't work, the ICC, common issue. It's spooling up nicely now that I've fixed the leak. So I just went to it for a test drive, as you guys can see. It's boosting pretty good, but I did notice that there is some smoke coming out. I didn't video it, but I did compression test. After filming that video, I realized what it actually was. I did a leak down test and the motor was perfect in the sense that it wasn't leaking any oil anywhere, but the valve stem seals are leaking. So when you have it at top dead center, when you do the test, you know, the valves are all closed. So when you put pressure in that cylinder, which was cylinder 6, it would be fully airtight. But as soon as it starts to move down and up, the oil seeps down, and that's why I'm getting a little bit of smoke and a little bit of a misfire. So I wasn't going to change my motor over, but now I am, just because it's just going to be a lot easier. I think I'll take that motor out, I'll try to sell it. If I can't sell it, I'm probably just going to build that bottom end in my own time with a billet crank, a billet conrod and maybe billet pistons. We'll see how we go. But basically that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to get the motor swapped, get it running right so I can go drifting, because that's the main goal. But I'll see you guys on the next one.
Back and I'm better than ever. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me